climber came up through the rock like a flood, 2 floors of it, straight at him. Cade did not run. He set his back to the stone, read its charge in the ripples, and hunted the one thing worth killing. Dinner comes to us, the gaunt purred. But Cade would not throw a starving body at a mountain. Since he chose to eat and grow, he had one rule left: graft only what kills and never the easy meal. He splayed his palm on the floor and let the dark turn legible. Soft prey grazed to his left, warm and slow and easy. He marked it and refused it. Easy meat makes a fat monster, not a living man. Then he felt it, a stillness that ate its own echo, coiled in a frozen gallery ahead. A frost lurker, patient death that kills with a touch of cold. Worth the cost, the gaunt whispered. That one buys you a weapon. So he turned from the fat, frightened herd and from the climber both, and walked toward the cold. A hunter does not take what is offered, he takes what he needs, and he pays the exact price for it. The frozen gallery breathed white. Rime furred every surface, and the lurker was nowhere, because it was everywhere, clear ice against ice, waiting for a warm heart to blunder close. The cold bit into him like teeth. He could not see it, so he did not try. He closed his eyes and read the floor instead, hunting the one patch of frost that did not creak as the gallery settled. There, a shape holding too still to be ice. It struck before he set his feet, a lash of glass limbs out of the wall. Cold slammed through his shoulder where it grazed him, and the flesh went white and dead stiff in a heartbeat. One clean touch. That was all it needed. His venom claws raked its icy carapace and skidded off frozen plate. Trading blows would freeze him solid, so Cade did the lurker's own trick back at it. He went still, killed his heartbeat's drum, and let it lose him in the cold. It crept out to find the worn thing gone. It passed within a breath of him, blind and certain, its slit mouth breathing, killing frost. Cade waited for the soft seam between its plates to turn toward him, and did not move. Then he moved once. He drove his clawed hand through the seam into the cold meat beneath the ice, and pinned the lurker to the wall on its own frozen limb. It thrashed, breathing frost that stiffened half his coat to board. He found the core burning cold behind its jaw, and did what the dark made him for. He fed. The consumption was the kill. The lurker's light went out, and its lethal cold poured up his arm and into him, and stayed. The graft set like frost spreading on glass. His left hand crusted pale with rime, and a thin blue-white chill breathed from his fingers. Now his touch could drag the warmth out of anything living until it stopped, and leave no wound to show. Then the price. He noticed his frozen coat and felt nothing, no ache, no shiver, no warning. The feast had eaten his sense of cold entirely. Frost could kill him now in silence, and nothing left in him would ever tell him to shiver. He pressed his rimed hand to his cheek and could not feel the killing cold. Another human thing gone, quiet as the rest. Behind him, the easy herd still grazed, untouched. He held that refusal close. It was the last proof he had. Armed now, he turned his new cold toward the climber below, ready to sell his life dearly. But the climber had stopped. The 2 floors of it hung motionless in the rock, no longer hunting him. Something had frightened the thing that feared nothing. Then, deep beneath even the climber, a whole floor went silent. Not quiet. Silent. The way a room goes silent when something vast opens its eyes. Cade's trimmer sense showed him nothing there at all, as if the stone itself had stopped breathing, and the climber ran. Upward, away, in blind panic, the mountain that had meant to eat him now fleeing something worse below. Whatever had woken down there had emptied a floor the way Cade's swarm once fled him, only larger, far larger. For the second time ever, the gaunt had nothing clever to say. Then, low and unlike itself, "Run, little ghost." That is older than me, older than the floors. It should still be sleeping. Dread in a dead god's voice was answer enough. Cade held still and listened toward it, and the silence listened back. Down in the empty dark, something ancient felt the thin new sense reaching for it, and turned. Not fast, certain, the way you turn toward a voice that has said your name. Far above, in daylight that never reaches him, Wren Calder hit stone. She carried her high seal to every register in the city, and every one of them had never seen it. No guild, no crown, no record anywhere that it exists. Worse than blank pages, blank faces. Every clerk she pressed when practiced, still at the sight of it, then forgot her question. Someone had not just buried the record, they had taught the whole city to stop remembering it existed. Paper was a dead end. Whoever reached above the guilds could scrub any page clean, so Ren stopped chasing ink and started counting the living. Someone stood on that floor 40 dive and still breathed. Find that person, and the seal would not matter. She ran the roster of that dive, the dead man, the captain who cleared himself, the officer with the perfect sympathy, and the nervous one who watched. Doss, buried with the rest. Except, the docs whispered. A dead man walked. She was not the only one to hear it. In a lamplit back room, the men who sealed that door went still. One of the dead had been seen breathing. A buried witness could still talk. They sent someone to make the grave true. Doss had not slept in days. Back to the door, escape bag packed. He did not fear Cade. Cade had hauled him from that grave and let him live. He feared the men who sealed it and his own coward silence. Then boots on the stair, too even to be a neighbor. They stopped outside his door. A gloved hand tried the latch, slow and patient. Doss did not breathe. The men who sealed the deep had found the last witness left alive. The latch held one heartbeat too long, and that heartbeat saved him. Doss went out the window into the wet dark and ran. No plan, nowhere safe, one certainty beating in him. He could not stay hidden, and he could not survive alone. Cade crouched over the silent deep, a killing cold in his hand he could not feel. Below him, an old god turning his way. Above, a woman and a coward he could not reach. For once the gaunt pulled him nowhere. It was only afraid. Far above, two people who had not spoken in a year were driven onto the same street by the same dark. One asking what happened on floor 40, one finally ready to answer if he lived to reach her. Neither knew the other was moving. Then, far below, the silent floor took one breath. A single slow pulse rolled up through the stone and passed through Cade like a hand laid flat on his heart. It knew he was there now, and it was, very patiently, beginning to climb.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe!